we are going to be making a beehive teapot. And so let me just show you this. We're just going to transition here. This is what I've done. I've gone ahead and painted it because I knew it would take so long for the paint to dry and everything else. And so I went ahead and painted everything. And so I just wanted to show you that if you purchase one of these kits, it actually comes like this. And it has all the lines. It's like a paint by number for adults. And so you can see where you're supposed to put all the different colors of your paint. The little butterfly is the same way. Hold on a second. I don't know that you can see that. Let's see if it'll do this. The little butterfly is the same way, and the flowers are the same way. So everything is kind of, you don't have to guess at where you need to put your paints. So I have just painted everything, and as you can see, it's very cute. Just flat and just like it is. But we're going to jazz it up a little bit. And so what I have, and let me just show you the colors that I used to paint this. For the yellow, I used this Deco Art. I always forget I'm not upside down. This Deco Art Americana. This is bright yellow. And I painted the first coat and I realized that is a little too bright. So I had already stained my bases with this Waverly Antique. So all I did is I just added a little bit of the antique into my into my yellow yellow to take down the brassiness of the bright white. So just letting you know, if you don't have a golden color or something like that, you can always just kind of tone it down just a little bit with a little bit of brown. And for the flower, and then the bee is just the yellow and the black and straight yellow, black, and white. And they're all Deco Art Americana. And then for the others, I used this Folk Art Cascade is what this blue is. This Martha Stewart, and I do apologize because they don't make this anymore, but it was the perfect color and the only one that I had. Martha Stewart Seaweed, and then Coral Blush, and Brilliant Purple. And then for the centers, I just added a little bit of this coral with my yellow so that it was just a little bit different yellow than the yellow of the beehive. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to kind of add some definition to our beehive, everything. So let me just paint this black. And just so you know, for this whole thing right here, where it's striped, I painted the whole thing white first. And then I just painted, black is much easier, white is much easier to paint over than black is. And I will have these listed in my shop tomorrow. So if you are interested in one of these kits, just let me know. See, I went out of the lines, but we'll just make it up. Because I'm also going to include in this kit a honeycomb stencil, so that you don't have to try to figure out how to do that. Okay, so that is done. We need to dry this before we start with the next step. I want to do all the lines, embellish all the lines of the beehive. And then I have cut this stencil. It's just a paper stencil that I cut out of on my Cricut. And if you buy a kit, you're going to get one of these as well. And so for that, with the stencil, I'm going to be using this archival coffee ink, because the archival ink is permanent. And so, okay, so we're all dry. Now what I'm using is an angle brush. And this, it says it's 3/8. This was a really cheap set that I bought at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I'm not certain. But this is what we're going to do. I have a piece of palette paper here. This is just slick paper, and that's really what you need to do this technique. And so I'm going to try to get everything in the camera here. And what we're going to do, I need a little bit darker of a color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this yellow. And I'm going to use some of this Waverly Antique. And I'm going to add that to that. And hopefully we get kind of a golden color. I think I added way too much. Way too much. So we'll just add a little bit more yellow here. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of my blush to give it a little bit of an orange tint. That was not a little bit. So who knows what color we're going to show up with now. That was not the color I was going for. Okay, so hold on. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's just put a little yellow right there, because we don't need just a whole lot. And we're just going to take a little bit of this color and add it to it. Now that is more of the color I was looking for. More of an orange. You just kind of want a little bit of a darker color. And I don't have that much, but what I'm going to do, I want to rinse my brush. You want a clean brush. It doesn't need to be, it needs to be damp, but it doesn't have to be wet, wet, wet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our brush and just drag it the long side, not the short side. We're going to drag the long side across, not that one, because that's not the one we're using. La! I don't do well at night. I'm just saying. I don't do well at night. Okay, so we're just going to take it across that, just like that. So we have a little bit. I'm going to load up just a little bit more, just like that. And then I'm going to take my palette paper, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that I like what I'm seeing. And so what I'm going to do then is I'm just taking that edge of that. I'm going to need a little more paint. I just need a little more of that. I think it's going to have to be darker. Let's try this. I hate to try this, but we'll just give this a whirl. And you don't want to get paint like that. That's what you don't want to get. See, just like that. I don't want that. Okay, that is not going to do what I want it to do. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of this. You know, sometimes you just kind of got to experiment a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around, because I want to get just a little bit of this, a little more. I want it to be like this. So you need a little bit of water on there. And that's what I wanted. So you need to have it a little damp. Run the long edge through. Then kind of try to get a little bit of the water off. And then run it along that line. Just like that. Then that is just going to give you, I mean, doesn't that have so much more dimension than not having it? So let us continue. And you're just loading it up right on the side. And then I'm just kind of wiping it, kind of getting a little bit, making sure it's staying up there. And then I'm going to roll it on there, roll it, paint it on there. And that looks great. We have one more, and then we're going to go around all around the sides. All right. That looks good. I like it. Now it's like, do we need some orange? I don't know. I think it looks good just like it is. Okay, so we're going to add some more because we need to go around the outline. I learned this trick. I was thinking today, I learned this trick in a toll painting class. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing around this white. We're going to be doing a lot of this. I'm going to do the same thing around the white. I'm going to give it a little bit more because I want it to look a little distressed, I guess you could say. Hopefully I'm still in the camera. I'm going to move this over. You think you have a huge desk until you start doing all of this, and it's like, okay, my desk isn't as big as I thought it was. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the handle, and then I think we're finished with the brown. Then we're going to go with white. Just kind of the same style. It's called an angler. Or an... I think an angler is a fishing term. It's an angle brush, not an angler. Oh, it's hard to see, but I'm wiping some of it off, and then I'm just going to go around this part right here, and it just makes that black just pop right out. I think I need a little more. A little more water. I think I got way too much of that on my brush, so let me wipe that off. I still need some water. I'm going to turn this around and do that. Let me get just a little bit off because now I have brown in my brush. Okay, let's see if we can get this. Whoop, that's a whole lot. I like it, but that's a whole lot more. So I'm going to just do kind of the same thing on this side just to even it up a little bit. And like I said, if you don't like that, then all you have to do is just take a wet brush and just to kind of go back over it, and it will smooth it out. I like that. I think it looks really good. So we're going to do the same thing on the handle, and the same thing here, and the same thing up here. And then all we have to do is go to our bee and our flowers, and we're done. This will work. I'm just using one of these not felt, but sponge daubers. And I want not just really a whole lot. Ah! That looks so cool. I just feel like it needs to be a little softer. So what can I do to make it softer? I guess not rub so hard. That would probably be good. Okay, I just didn't know if it was going to work. Now that I do, I'll just make it softer. That looks better. So you don't want to use just a whole lot. You may have to kind of go back over that just a little. see. I wonder if I could take some of it up somehow. Oh, I know what I can do. It may not be dry enough yet. I'm going to see if I can get some of that up. Just going to use a baby wipe and see if I can get some of that to come up. There we go. That looks better. Really don't want that harsh edge right there. That just looks so good. What do y'all think? I just love it. Okay, I'm just going to kind of take it and make sure I've got all the edges. I know we did it with the paint, but let's go ahead and do it with this as well. And like I said, this is permanent ink. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so now we got to do the flowers, and that's going to be the tricky one, okay? And I mean, already, what a difference it makes. It just kind of makes it look dimensional instead of quite so flat. Just gives it a little bit of life. I mean, the other way is fine. I'm not saying it's not. It's just however you like it and whatever works for you. This does take a little bit of practice. You might want to practice on a, just on a practice sheet or something. It's like a piece of board or a canvas or something, because you can do it on a canvas as well. But see what a difference this one is to all of these. It just makes them pop. This is lime green, I think. This is citron green. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing to our leaves. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow. I know I'm going kind of wild and crazy, just to give it a little bit. See if I can do this. And then I'm going to take this and try to go around some of the edges that I can get to. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the bee. Let's see, I need a little bit of the white. See if I can get a little bit of this white here to go around this black part. We're just going to see if we can do this. and just a little bit of the brown if I have any left, of which I might have a little bit, might not be too dry. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I'll do a little on the wings. Kind of get it in. There we go. Okay, so now we have our flowers are going to go here. Our bee is going to go here. I'm just going to add a little bit of dots. And then what I want to do, before I get it all together, is I want to add, I'm going to add a little stickles to the wings. I think that will be just so cool. So this is just basically glitter. I don't think it's glitter glue, but it's just says Stickles makes your art sparkle and enhanced rubber stamp designs. And it's just, we're just going to put a little bit on here, and I'm going to use my fingers and just kind of rub. And I know you won't be able to see it probably on the camera. The only thing I didn't do was the centers. And I think I'm going to do, let me finish with the centers. I'm going to do them in this blush. Just so maybe it'll show up. It's kind of hard to go around a circle. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now all I need to do, I think I forgot a black marker. Hold on. I have a black Posca marker. I am going to add 3 dots up here so you can tell that that's a spout. I need them to be a little bit bigger. So you know that's a spout. Just do a little line here. We're going to do a doorknob. Kind of. There we go. And you could do it just kind of a swoosh with a pen. If I mean a paintbrush. I'm going to do just a little dot here. And then I am going to move that over, just kind of some 3 dots on our flowers, just to kind of give them a little bit extra. There's just the little bee right there on the ends. Messed up his little stickles because it wasn't dry. Let me put a little more. Just picked it right up. There we go. So now I'm going to add our bee. I'm going to add our flower. And it is finished. It is ready to go and ready to be displayed.